I tried to have a nice candle burning in the background and it's not fitting into the frame. But anyway, hi everyone. So I actually wanted to do a little bit of a TBR. So I'm actually going to be taking part in Vampathon. So it's a week-long readathon that I think it's Vanilla Moon, she created it, so Jodie, and I think there's a few other YouTubers that take part. I think it's Bambina Katerina and Madam's Bouquet. I think there's one or two more, but I can't remember. But yeah, I did this readathon last year and I loved it so much. It's such a nice way to celebrate Halloween. Basically, it's a week-long readathon. I actually think this year it's 8 days. Last year it was 7. So hopefully I'll squeeze in more reading this year. So yeah, it's taking place from the 24th to the 31st of October, so the Monday to the Monday, the week leading up to Halloween. So what I can do if you're interested is link Jodie's video. She has an announcement. So I think it's basically you have 16 prompts and there's a type of bingo board. So I think the idea is that you're supposed to try to get one across or one diagonal, like a bingo game. I'll insert a picture here of the prompts. I think there's also Instagram prompts as well, so there should be, I think there's a photo prompt for each day as well, and I'll stick that here too. What I noticed is everything is more or less the same as last year, so yeah, I'm excited. I'm really going to take it easy. I'm just going to read lots. I think I'm going to watch a lot of good movies and just really enjoy the week. I'm definitely going to vlog it. Last year I attempted to daily vlog and I feel like that really took away from my reading time. I still want to do like fun things in between that's not just reading, so I do want to do some baking and I do want to go out to coffee shops, things like that, but I felt like doing a daily vlog really took away from my reading time last year. So I am going to vlog, but I think I might just do one big weekly reading vlog or maybe 1 or 2 videos, but we'll see how we go. I'll see how much footage I get, but I feel like that less pressure to vlog my entire day will probably let me read more. I really enjoyed Vampathon last year, but I had to cut it short. I think I couldn't participate every single day of it and I felt like the vlogging and editing took up too much of my time. So yeah, that's my plan. This video should go up just before the week starts. So yeah, I will link Jodie's video in the description if you want to join as well. It just sounds so much fun and it's pretty relaxed as well because you can really make the prompts whatever you want really, and one book could maybe fill a few different prompts. What I've done actually, so I've done a little spread already. So there is 16 prompts and I picked 16 books. Like, I'm not going to read 16 books, absolutely not. And I want to talk about them now. What I want to do is have these books as kind of my pile to read from. And I can kind of pick and choose as I go and mood read from this pile of books. Because they all fit a prompt in one way or another. Obviously one book can fill a few different prompts, so I'll do that as well. But yeah, I do want to read more this year. Definitely didn't read as much as I wanted last year. So I'll just go through my TBR now. I would love to read about, I would love to like fully finish maybe 4 or 5 books. I think that would be great. And looking at my pile, I'll show you now. I picked a lot of chunky books and I don't really know why I did that. But we'll see how we go. But yeah, we're going to see how much we can read throughout the week. I'll keep putting the picture here. The first prompt is a book to sink your teeth into. So that really can be anything. But I went for Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff and I got this really, really nice edition from Illumicrate last year. I think actually book 2 is coming out soon. But yeah, this is it's very chunky. But I'd really, really like to read this because it is a vampire book. Yeah, it's about 700 pages. It'd be great if I could get a good bit of headway through this during the week. I don't need to finish it, of course. This is the only vampire book I have that I haven't read already. I read Dracula last year. I've read the Twilight books already. I have Vampire Academy, but that is a different prompt. So this is the only vampire book I had. So I was like, okay, it's very chunky, but I'll pick it. I'm not actually very aware of the plot. I know that the world that this is set in, it's very much vampire versus humanity. And then it says that there hasn't been a sunrise in 27 years. And I do think there's like an element of forbidden romance in this. So I'm assuming that's a human and a vampire. So I think that'll be pretty cool. I've never read any J. Kristoff either. So yeah, I'll give this a stab and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I don't expect to finish this. The next prompt is paranormal / supernatural romance. I suppose that would probably fit that prompt anyway. This is the only book actually I don't have a physical copy of. I did order one from Book Depository, but it hasn't arrived yet. And that is Kingdom of the Wicked by, I think it's Carrie Maniscalco. I actually have Kingdom of the Cursed, like somewhere on my bookshelves. and for some reason I have the sequel and I don't have the first book. But anyway, I ordered it. But I actually think this will be my audiobook for the week, I think. I'm very excited to get to this because I've just heard really, really good things. I think it's about two sisters and one sister has to save the other sister, and I think have to make a deal with the devil type thing. I'm not actually quite sure about the plot, but I know it's a romance. So yeah, I think that will be my audiobook for the week. So the next prompt is gothic and spooky cover, and I chose Belladonna for this one. So this is by Adeline Grace. I got this nice copy from Fairy Loot, I think, but this would probably fit the second prompt as well. So a lot of these books are going to fit a lot of the prompts, so I'm glad I can kind of mood read within these. Okay, cool. So I think this is the main character is trying to get back at someone for a murder within her family, and she actually makes a deal with the Grim Reaper, I think, or Death, and I think there is a romance between Death and the main character. But yeah, I just thought that the cover is really, really cool. Look at those end pages. So yeah, I think this is probably very much like Kingdom of the Wicked, kind of a supernatural paranormal romance. Paranormal, I'm struggling to say that. Paranormal. This is just a new release. I think this just came out and I've heard really, really good things about it, so I'm definitely going to get to this one. So the next prompt is vampire book to movie. So you could do Twilight for this one, but I thought I would actually go for Vampire Academy. So this is by Rochelle Mead, and this came out years ago, absolutely years ago, but I've never read this or watched any of the movies. I bought the second hand as well. It's a little gross. There's 6 books the Vampire Academy series. So yeah, there was a movie made of this. I believe there's a new show coming out just really, really soon. I don't know, has it already come out? Okay, so the main character is a mortal vampire, so she's a vampire but she can die. And her best friend have been dragged back to Saint Vladimir's Academy. So the girls must survive a forbidden romances, a ruthless social scene, and terrifying nighttime rituals. Cool, so it's vampires versus vampires. That's quite interesting. But yeah, I've heard that people really enjoy this. I'm sure it's kind of campy and light-hearted. But yeah, when did this originally come out? Oh, this came out in 2007. Where have I been? I totally missed out on this. So this was a little bit before Twilight, was it? It was around the same time as Twilight. I don't know, I was sleeping on this. So yeah, I'll give this a go, and I would love to read this and maybe watch the original movie or the new TV show during the week and see how I like it. And if I like it, I'll continue on with the series. So the next prompt is Spooky Middle Grade. And again, this is another book I don't actually have. I ordered it from Amazon and it's coming today, apparently. But I'm going to try to read Nevermore. I think the author is Jessica Townsend. I've heard that this is a little bit of an alternative to Harry Potter. I think this has some like competition element where children have to compete to enter the school. I think. I'm not quite sure. I'll read the blurb when I get it. But I definitely think I'll try to get to this because it should be a nice short read. I don't think it's meant to be super spooky, but I suppose it is witchy, so I think it'll fit for Halloween. So yeah, the next one is spooky graphic novel or manga. I was going to possibly do Death Note for this. I tried to do Death Note last year and it didn't happen, but I thought I would actually go for Tokyo Ghoul. So I think this is by Sui Ishida. I've never actually read a manga before, so this will be quite interesting. And I actually own, I think there's 13 or 14 volumes of this manga and I have up to 7. So I'll see if I want to like continue on if I really like this. I've got a few more of the sequels to go on, which is good. But this is an anime as well and I think it's on Netflix. But yeah, I think this is obviously set in Tokyo, Japan, and I think you have people called ghouls and then you have humans, and ghouls feed off humans but they're living within the same society, and I think the main character is half and half. He's half human, half ghoul. Oh, he's the first half human, half ghoul hybrid. So Ken must survive ghoul turf wars, learn about ghoul society and master his new powers. Okay, so yeah, it looks like he's got 2 different coloured eyes. It sounds really good. Sounds kind of gory, but I really like kind of darker. I haven't watched a lot of anime, but I do really like Death Note and I do really like Attack on Titan, and they're a little bit more, I don't know, darker, I suppose. So yeah, I'll give this a go. I'm assuming it probably won't take me that long to read it, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I've heard good things, and yeah, I do have the first 7 volumes, so if I do really like it, I can continue on. So the next prompt is book with a gothic setting, and I picked another chunky one. Don't know why, but anyway. So I went for Babel, and this is by R.F. Kuang. This came out recently, and everyone's saying this is amazing. And this is set in Oxford, and I think it's supposed to be quite a dark academia book. So I think that would be quite nice if I wanted to switch to more, I don't know, rather a moody, atmospheric book rather than a scary book or a vampire book. So yeah, I think the characters are all in the translation department. But yeah, I don't know much about the plot here. But I got this beautiful, beautiful set again, I think from Fairy Loot. I don't know where I get half my books from. But yeah, R.F. Kuang also wrote the Poppy War series, and I follow her on Twitter. I do really like her. She's quite funny. But yeah, really, I just want to see what the hype's about. I think this will be quite good. But yeah, again, not really expecting to finish it all in 1 week. Yeah, it's about 500 pages. So yeah, I think this set of characters here, I think there's 4 characters. I wonder, is it multiple POV? I don't know if it is actually. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to get to this one. If I don't read it during Vampathon, I'm going to read it soon anyway. Why did I pick such chunky books? Okay, so the next one, honestly, the books that I own that fit the prompts, I just feel are all chunky books. And the next one is Supernatural Main Character. So I went for Crescent City. So this is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. I think the main character in this, she's half fae, half human, I believe. And it's an urban fantasy. And I think the main character's friend is murdered. And I think she's an investigator herself. And I think it's years later, she's assigned with Hunt. And both of them have to figure out what's going on in the city. And I think there's obviously romance element to it as well. Not Sarah J Maas without romance. I have to say, I just read A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. I enjoyed them. Didn't love them, but I thought I would give this a go. I think this is meant to be slightly more adult. I think A Court of Thorns and Roses is new adult, and this one is just adult fantasy, I think. So yeah, again, we will see. This is another chunky book that I'm never ever going to finish. 800 pages. Nope. But again, I might want to try this. I've heard mixed things about this. I've heard that people really love it or they think it's pretty much okay. I don't really know what to expect, as I was like a little bit let down by the Actar series, but I still really enjoyed it. But so hopefully I like this one. But yeah, this one I doubt I'll get to, but we shall see. Okay, the next prompt is a horror book. So finally I picked a short one. I went for Frankenstein. So this is by Mary Shelley, of course. I do think there's 2 editions of Frankenstein, and this is the 1818 one. But yeah, I've never read Frankenstein. I'm not too aware of the story. I obviously know Victor Frankenstein creates a man out of body parts, I believe. So yeah, this is the first, not necessarily a horror book, it's kind of deemed the first science fiction book, but obviously it has scary elements, so I thought I would fit this into the horror prompt, and I feel like I'll definitely get to this, as it is quite short. Yeah, it's only 180 pages. I'll definitely get through this. I do like classics. I really enjoyed reading Dracula last year, and I think I will quite like this. But yeah, the first sci-fi ever, really cool. The next prompt is Blood is Used as Magic, and I actually had to research this because I wasn't quite sure which one of my books would fit this prompt, but apparently A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, apparently the main character uses blood magic within it, or they use blood for magic within this book or within the series at some point. But yeah, I'm very excited about this. So this is set in London, and there's 4 parallel Londons. I think there's black, white, red and grey, and the main character Kel is a red traveller, so he can travel between all 4. Okay, so he's an ambassador and a messenger between all the Londons. Unofficially he's a smuggler. Ooh, okay, so basically I think the main character is a smuggler and he gets himself into trouble. Oh, I love that. I think I'm going to really like this. I've always thought I really would. I actually have all 3 books of the trilogy, but I haven't read it yet. I love the idea of a morally grey main character. I really love when the main character is a bit of a villain or a bit, of a trickster. So yeah, very, very, very excited to get to this one. I might be wrong about the blood is used as magic, but I found it on Reddit somewhere that it is, so we'll see. So the next prompt is a thriller or murder mystery. I thought I would go for The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Lucy Foley is Irish, I believe, so I'm really glad to support an Irish author. And then I believe this is set in Ireland too. Okay, so this is set in Ireland, an island off the Irish coast, and there's 13 guests, 1 body. 1 guest won't leave this wedding alive. That's cool. Murder mysteries aren't my favourite genre, but I love a book set in Ireland, so I think this will be fun to get to. Okay, the next one is a book that frightens you, and I think like the scariest book or the scariest idea of a book I have is Perfume. So this is by Patrick Suskind. So apparently the main character in this, he has this gift for scent, and I believe he's on this quest to make the perfect scent, and I think he uses people's bodies to do it. It sounds a bit like Hannibal a little bit. So it's Perfume, the story of a murderer. So again, I love when a book is from the perspective of the villain. This is set in Paris. as well. Again, another short one, so I should get through it. But yeah, just the thought of this, like I know I'm going to be disgusted reading this, so thought it would fit that prompt quite well. So the next one is Blood on the Cover, and I had such a hard time. I looked through so many books and I was like, I don't think I have any with blood on the cover. But this one does actually. So this is King of Battle and Blood, and this is by Scarlett St. Clair. So kind of blood here coming out from the roses. I believe this is like a dark romance. I think it's a forced marriage where I think the main character is marrying a vampire king. Oh, perfect. I didn't realize this was vampires. Okay, perfect for a Vampathon. So her idea is to marry him and kill him, but I bet you she falls in love with him. Cool. Okay, so a bit of a dark romance. I think this will be... I did not realise it was vampires. I'll definitely try to get to this then if it's vampires. The next prompt is the only one where you actually have to do something for it. So this is read a book in the dark. So I think the idea is that you like light a few candles, read in the dark and spook yourself out. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to read Jane Eyre, so by Charlotte Bronte, of course. I kind of picked this because I really want to get to it. I think it would be nice to read by candlelight. It does have a very dark, gothic, kind of creepy tone to it. Rather than it being a scary book, it's more of an atmospheric book, a little bit like Babel. Yeah, and I got this beautiful cloth-bound edition. My brother's got me this for my birthday 1 year. So yeah, I thought it'd be really nice to read this, especially during autumn, winter. I feel like it would really suit this time of year. But yeah, I'm not going to spook myself out. I'm not reading Perfume by candlelight. This is another one I struggled to find actually. So the next prompt is witchy vibes. So I went for This Poison Heart, and this is by Kaylin, I think it's Bayron. And this is, I think, it's a YA fantasy. I think the main character, I think she doesn't know much about her family and then finds out that her family have powers over plants. So yeah, the same author wrote Cinderella is Dead, I believe, and I thought this was a really cool concept that it was over like a power over plants. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, again, I thought this would be kind of a quick-ish book to read since it's kind of a YA fantasy. So yeah, I haven't really heard much about this. I'm not quite sure. This is a book I got from Owl Crate, I believe, a few months back. I thought this would be a nice lighter book to read. The last prompt is set in a school. So again, I can use obviously Babel for that, but I picked Plain Bad Heroines. I think there was murders happening in a school and then it's years later. I think the school turns into a movie set and the actors are kind of filming what happened there, I believe. So yeah, with the murders, the school is forced to close, and then I think it's 100 years later, there's this really controversial movie being made. So yeah, it says the cast of glamorous young actresses assemble to start filming, but the past and present begin to blur. I'd say this is a bit of a murder mystery as well, and seems kind of dark, so I think this would be good. Again, very chunky. I picked some chunky ones for this week. But yeah, again, I've heard really good things about this book. So yeah, that is the pool of books that I'm going to read from. I'm obviously not going to read all of them, but I am planning to read and just read for Vampathon. So I'm really excited. I'll link all these books and all the prompts and Jodie's video and everything in the description. And yeah, there should be a vlog coming soon of me attempting to read most of these. So yeah, I'll link all my socials in the description. If you'd like to subscribe, I do anything book related on this channel. So hauls, reading wrap-ups, reading vlogs, anything like that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!